No, but what I'm worried about is people won't know whose voice is yours and whose voice is mine.
Well, what if we wore name tags? That way people could just look at my name tag and see that I'm Mike, and your name tag that you're Arza.
But it's an audio recording. They can't see our name tags.
Why not?
Because it's audio.
Yeah, but what would that stop from?
How are they going to look at it?
They can just see it with their eyes.
No, but you can only hear.
With what?
Your ears.
I don't understand.
There's nothing visual.
Why? Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Mike at the Helm podcast. I'm your host, Mike Spencer.
And I'm your host, Arza Helm.
Arza, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm not too bad.
As you guys can see, if you're watching the video, if you're not watching the video, we have some amateur noise treatment here.
Got some blankets all over the place.
Got a little stuffed animal, a few squares of acoustic foam.
Yep, about half an inch thick, right, Arza?
I think it's an inch.
An inch? Okay.
Yeah.
Just kind of compensating?
Yeah.
Like, that seems like an inch to me. So you're about 9 inches instead of the 4.5.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Okay.
It's like how I'm 6 feet tall.
Right. Yeah. I'm probably 7'5" at that point then. So.
But yeah, basically this first episode, you'll get a taste. What we're trying to do on this podcast, we're just kind of letting the microphone steer their way, just have some conversations with each other and with our guests when we have guests eventually. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, will be. Arza, you know how you have a really unique name and I don't?
Yeah.
Mike Spencer versus Arza Helm. The thing with my name being Mike Spencer is there's tons of Mike Spencers out there. Not just Mike's, but Mike Spencers. There's a race car driver named Mike Spencer.
Are you serious?
Yeah. There's a famous TikToker named Mike Spencer. And now I recently found out there is a Trump supporter named Mike Spencer.
Was he at the Capitol?
It looks like it.
Are you serious?
Yep. Here's what I read on KSLTV.com. Protester Michael Spencer said he wished the government would do more investigating into the elections. He says, I don't believe Joe Biden is the legitimate winner, but if he is the winner, I will support him. I will pray for him, but I don't believe it was a legitimate election. Okay. So I had people send this to me being like, is this you? And I've been like, no. Does that even sound like me? Does it sound like me to pray for a president or think that the election was not legitimate? Like, probably not.
For those of you that don't know us, Mike isn't a super religious guy.
No.
Either am I. I was at one point, but not anymore. But so that does not sound like Mike at all.
Nope. Never will.
Have you ever done that name calculator thing where you like look up your name and it like says how many people in the U.S. have the same name as you?
No. Is there only one Arza Helm?
I think there's actually a couple.
A couple, like 3 or 4.
Yeah. Because I've heard of people that have the same name as me, like a couple of them, and it's a family name, so I'm related to someone if they have the same name as me, and so it'd be likely that they would have the same last name as me as well. But I've never personally met anyone with the same name.
Right. Okay. I'm trying to look up how many Michael Spencers there are. Is there a website?
Yeah. I can't remember the freaking name of it.
All right, maybe we'll cut that part out.
Okay. No, we don't have to.
No, we don't have to cut anything out.
No. No editing.
Probably
no
a lot
editing
of
this.
Probably a lot of Mike Spencers, Michael Spencers. You know, I mean, if there's like 2 famous ones, soon to be 3, right? Like, there's got to be a ton of them. So,
dang.
Another thing I hate about being the name Mike is I've worked in customer service for like at least 7 years now, and it's always been like somebody would read my name tag and they'd be like, "Oh, my name's Mike too. Isn't that crazy? This is the craziest thing in the world." And I'm like, "No, it's not, because there's about 300 billion of us." Like, I think if you took all the Michaels in the world and you took people of any other name, like say Jacob, Kevin, Ethan, we would totally kick their asses just by sheer number. I was the number 1 name since like 1982.
Wait, do you not think that that's like a cool conversation starter?
Like, hey, my name's Mike.
Yeah. Wait, didn't someone literally gave you like a free graphics card or something?
Yeah,
for having the same name.
It wasn't just the same name. I think it was because we had the same first name and middle name. So we met up, and I was just gonna buy his laptop off of him, and he was like, oh, you're Mike? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, oh, that's funny. My middle name is James, but I go by James. But my first name is Michael. And I was like, are you joking? Because that's my first and middle name. And then we kind of hit it off. His last name was Hoth.
Isn't that a Star Wars planet?
Exactly, yeah. And he talked about how he got like room upgrades for free with just having the last name Hoth because of Star Wars fans. And I was like, wow. I mean, at least you got some kind of unique last name. You know?
Yeah.
Like my senior yearbook quote was, never trust a man with 2 first names when I've been lucky enough to be blessed with 3.
Yeah.
It was dash Michael James Spencer. So, yeah, not a lot of people with 3 first names. Not a lot of people with, or a ton of people with Michael and then James and Spencer. So,
dang. Yeah, have you heard the story with, do you know Michael B. Jordan, the actor?
I do, yeah.
So, you know why he added the B in there?
Because of Michael Jordan?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
like, he would, like, call places, like a pizza place.
Oh, really?
And they would think he was prank calling. They'd be like, what's your name? And he'd be like, Michael Jordan. And they thought they would think it's prank calls.
Really?
So he started going by Michael B. Jordan.
That's funny. So I don't know if you know this, but if you're getting into the actor world or anything like that, you actually have to have a unique name as well. So there can't be
Really?
2 famous like actor Michael Jordans. It's because of the credits. And people might be like, oh, Michael Jordan was in this? Like the guy from Space Jam? No, Michael B. Jordan was in this. The guy from Creed or Black Panther or whatever.
Okay.
So that's why you have names like Robert Downey Jr., like those big names where it's like, does he actually go by that? And it's like, no, he does not.
So I would probably have to add my middle name in there, too.
Probably not.
Oh.
Ours a Helm.
Ours a L Helm, though.
Ours a L Helm.
It's like a general name.
Yeah, that could be your...
Robert E. Lee type of deal.
Your middle name's not L, is it?
Yeah.
What's your middle
Well,
name?
my middle name is Lamar.
Lamar. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. I was thinking of El Helm, like that would be your Mexican wrestler name. And you wear like a horned helmet. El Helm.
Oh, like, okay. I
So
see.
if you ever get into the Mexican wrestling, I mean, that would be a good name.
My Animal Crossing has a luchador
Yeah.
on it. That's cool.
So you were talking about the prank, the pretend prank calls that people were thinking Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
Michael B. Jordan was saying.
Yeah.
So there was this restaurant my dad and I used to go to where you like, instead of calling your own name, where they, how Starbucks you'd like be like, oh, what's your name, and then they'd be and then they'd call it. So this place did something kind of funny where it was like, instead of calling your own name, it'd be like, call out your favorite superhero or call out your favorite author or call out this, and and my dad, so it was like your favorite author. I can't remember what it was, but my dad ended up saying Dick Clark. And there was this 16-year-old girl at the counter, and she was like, Dick what? like she thought my dad was trying to get her to say something naughty or something. And my dad's like, Dick Spencer, which is his last name.
Yeah.
And then that's when we sat down all awkwardly. So
Have you ever done any pranks before?
I've done tons of pranks. Are you
Really?
talking about like just prank calls specifically or like any kind of prank?
I don't know, like, the closest thing to a prank that I ever remember doing was when I was like 7. My stepbrothers and I, we'd get snowballs and we'd throw them at cars passing through our neighborhood.
Is that a prank?
And I don't know, and maybe it's just being mean or something, but
Yeah, I remember being 4, maybe 4 or 5, and I had friends that were much older than me, and we'd like get squirt guns and squirt them at cars, and all the cars were fine because that's water on your car. Water
Yeah.
gets on your car. I don't know if people know this, but your car is waterproof. Everybody was fine. We even got some high schoolers that like roll down the window and try to like get it on themselves. And then there was this one dude who, people people are the worst, but there was this guy. He was probably like 60 years old. He immediately stops the car and he like comes in and yells at all of us, and we're like in between the ages of like 5 and 9, and he's like, I'm gonna call the cops on you guys. And I run away around by the bushes and I like hide, and I don't think he sees me yet, and I hear like out of nowhere he's like, there's one more of you, where is he? And then the kids lead him to me and he's like, I'm gonna call the cops on you, like they're gonna have to talk to you and your parents. And I was like bawling, and I don't think I committed another prank after that until like 10 years after, till like maybe like 9th or 10th grade.
dude, I have such a similar story. So when we were throwing those snowballs, one car just stopped, like dead stop. And we just ran to the back of the house and we're pretending like we were playing in the backyard. And we're like, he didn't follow us. So we're like, okay, I guess we're fine.
Well, that's your property,
and
right?
we
Like,
went inside.
Don't go in the backyard.
Yeah. But we went inside and he was in there with my dad. And my dad is like a really charming guy. And so the guy like felt better, but then he left and my dad just chewed us out.
Really?
And I was all crying. I went to my room and I've like, I think I'm still like scared to commit pranks because of that.
I could see that. Yeah. I mean, the thing with snowballs, I feel like water guns are safer than snowballs.
That's definitely
because there
true.
could be like rocks or things in there.
Yeah, or even if it's just icy. you
Icy.
know?
Yeah, like it
definitely.
scratch up the car.
Definitely.
Some of the pranks I've done, let's see, in high school. Have you heard of cheesing? You ever heard of that?
Like in StarCraft?
No. So that is a thing. I don't think people are gonna get that, but that's like just using a way to win with like really crappy methods and seeing if it works, like a Zerg or things like that. But what we used to do in high school, people we really didn't like, it was a good way of ruining their day, but not ruining any of their material possessions.
So it's a good way to bully people.
Exactly. Yeah, you got to ruin somebody's day sometime. I mean, it lifts up yours, right? So what we do is we'd get a bunch of craft singles from Walmart, and we would on a hot day put cheese all over their windshield and their windows.
You did that?
Yeah, we've totally done that before.
Oh my gosh, dude.
It's not as bad as like Jolly Ranchering. You know that.
Oh yeah,
that's where
horrible.
like you suck on the Jolly Rancher and you stick it to their windshield.
Well, how do you clean? How do you get home? How do you clean off the cheese?
I think you just try to get as much cheese off as you can and then go home and just spray your car. But yeah, we used to do crappy stuff like that all the time. They were usually more lighthearted. I don't know. Like, so I used to share a locker with my friend for gym class in high school.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'd put like, my shorts, and when I change, I'd put my pants in there and my shirt. And so my keys and my wallet would be in my pants. And there was one time I was going to go out to lunch with my friends after. And what they did was when I was in gym, they took my keys and they drove my car from the high school parking lot to the 7-Eleven that was like across the street.
Yeah.
And so we get out, I start walking, and I always park my car in the same spot. I just park my car as far as I can, because if I don't, I'll still walk that direction as far as I can, and then I'll realize my car's gone, and then I'll end up walking even further. So I usually park my car in the same spot, and we get there, I'm like, oh my God, like, where's my car? And my friends are like, dude, like, I don't know, like, why would I know what your car is? And I was looking all over, I was freaking out. I was like, I told the office, and I was like, well, I guess I got to call the police, and that's when they start bursting out laughing and telling me my car's at 7-Eleven. So we ended up getting lunch that day, because like I spent 20 minutes looking for my car. But that's a funny, lighthearted prank.
Was it worth it to them to not eat?
Probably. They were anorexic at the time. So.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, I was like, that's actually super sad.
No, nobody's anorexic. I mean, people are, but
A lot of people are.
I guess so. Not my friends though. I wouldn't be friends with somebody who's anorexic.
Stop. It's an inappropriate joke.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Should we blur out?
Maybe, honestly.
Can I say that?
So, a different type of prank. Have you ever heard of mashed potatoing?
Mashed potatoing.
Yeah.
Do you just force feed them mashed potatoes?
No. It's like you get the little pellets, the bags of mashed potatoes, the fake ones or whatever.
Okay, like from Costco?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you go and put them on people's lawns. Mm-hmm. And then when their sprinklers start up in the morning, then they expand.
No.
And they have mashed potatoes all over in their grass.
Oh, yeah. So kind of like jelloing, where like you buy the powder from a place and you pour it all over their lawn. And yeah, it starts to make the same thing. Coagulates the jello and makes it.
I wonder which one of those is more destructive.
I think like if you're going to mow the lawn later that day, definitely jelloing is easier.
Really?
I feel like mashed potatoes are going to stick.
They're thicker.
They're thicker and they're going to stick to the blades versus jello, and I feel like it would just cut right through that.
Yeah,
Could even clean your lawnmower. I mean, maybe we should suggest that to like landscapers. Like, we can clean your lawnmower. We just have to pour this on here.
One time, me and my friends, we went and we toilet papered this girl's house.
No.
It was horrible. This was I guess this was when I was past my fear of prank stage.
Right. How old are you at this point?
It was in middle school, so eighth grade, probably like 14.
Okay.
And we'd ride our longboards everywhere. We thought we were so cool.
Right. I was in that longboard phase too. Yeah.
And so we'd go to my friend's house, and there'd be like 15 of us, and we were playing video games all night. And we're like, hey, let's go toilet paper this house. And we go, and we're toilet papering at like 4 a.m, and then the lights turn on, and we're like, oh shit, we got to get out of here. So we start booking it, and the older brother is like driving around trying to find us, and we're like, we're having to like hide in bushes and stuff.
All right.
And eventually we get back to my friend's house, and we look out the window, and like the older brother drives by. Somehow, like, I don't know if he'd just see us as we were turning corners or something, but he was able to kind of follow us.
Right. Maybe they had a general idea of who.
Yeah, that's also possible. But yeah, it was freaky.
Yeah. Did he like go in your house?
Yeah.
Did he knock on the door?
Yeah.
So what happened after that?
So he came in the house, and then we had to 15v1 him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Did he win?
No.
No. You just beat him up.
Yeah.
Is that real?
No. No, he didn't find out which house it was.
Okay.
We just hid inside the rest of the night.
Peeking
And
through the
we
blinds.
were so afraid that he was going to show up the next day and like talk to the parents or something.
Right. How old was the brother at the time?
Oh, he was, I don't know, at least in his 20s.
Okay. Speaking of toilet paper style jokes, I have friends that used to pull way worse pranks than me, and I don't know if I'd really consider them pranks. But there was this friend that kind of did something crappy to one of my other friends, and they went out to his house at 2 a.m, and they just took
Was it the flaming poop bag?
No.
Oh, okay.
They just took a giant shit on the porch, and that was it.
What?
That's it. They didn't ring the doorbell.
That's not even creative.
Nope, but it's pretty crappy. No pun intended. That would suck. I feel like I'd rather the flaming poop bag.
Yeah,
I'd rather
honestly.
poop on my shoe and that's it, and just like the bag, than just a giant shit.
Yeah.
They only had one person do it. I was like, you didn't have everybody do it? That could be a bonding experience, you know? You've heard of blood brothers, but shit brothers, you know? All your shit's connected. But yeah, that was a thing that they did, just because, yeah. And I guess the mom, like, had an idea of who it was, and she ended up calling everybody else's mom and was like, we know you did it, but nothing ever really came of it, because, you know, their moms think they're angels, and just like how everybody's mom thinks their kids are angels.
Yeah.
They couldn't do anything. So.
Yeah. Because parents, they hear their kids do these things, right? Mm-hmm. And then they think that they messed up in their parenting, which might be true. You know?
Right.
There are crappy parents out there.
I mean, I think every parent, you know, isn't perfect, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, you're starting this at like 24. Tons of parents are.
Yeah. Or even younger.
Yeah. And
My
we're
mom
20.
was like 18 when she first had a kid or something.
Wow.
19. I think 19.
And I think about that. Like, my dad had me at 25. And I'm like, I'm not going to be a person at 25. I'm not going to be able to like raise a kid. And I have friends that like had kids at 23 and 22 and 21. And it's like, how are you doing this? And I think it just is like, well, we didn't, not that we didn't decide it, but it was like, well, it happened, you know, like not always an accident, but it's like, yeah, we decided to have a kid. And it's like, we're just going to figure it out.
It's
I can't
crazy.
imagine that.
Like, so for those of you who don't know us, I used to go to Brigham Young University. It's a Mormon university, and probably like half of the student body is married there, and probably a quarter of those have a kid.
Really?
And I really like don't understand. Some of them like bring them to class, or
Really?
they have to like figure out their schedule. So one of them's home all the time to take care of this kid, and I don't know how they do it. Like, I can barely take care of myself.
Yeah, I can't take care of myself. So,
Like,
is it really like a third of them have kids?
maybe not that many, but there's like not uncommon.
Not uncommon.
You know, like running into, like, whenever I was there and I don't know, looking at people I might want to ask on a date, you always have to do a ring check there. Make sure that they're not married.
Doing the ring check.
Yeah.
Huh? Or the promise ring check too.
Yeah.
I guess it's any ring. I guess you didn't say wedding ring check, but I just wanted to mention there's promise rings and stuff like that. So how does the student housing go? Like, so I know BYU is pretty serious about student housing.
Yeah.
Like, they like to make sure that landlords aren't like effing over any of their students or anything like that. So do they have like a specific married student housing?
Yeah. So they have, I think it's called Y-View, and then there's another one, but there's like 2 locations specifically for married couples.
Are they complexes or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you kind of get a full apartment. They're
That's
actually
nice.
pretay nice, yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cheap. Do you know how much like
Yes.
an average one would
So
go for?
Provo has pretty cheap rent.
Yeah.
Like up here in Salt Lake, I was looking just today actually, and a 2-bedroom apartment is at least like $1,200.
Yeah.
In Salt Lake.
That's what we're paying for our 2-bedroom apartment right now.
Dang. I wouldn't. There's no way I'd be able to afford that. That's crazy. But in Provo, you can get a 2-bedroom apartment for high end is probably like $900.
Really? And this is not student housing included?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Provo has a good housing market.
That's funny. I guess nobody wants to live there. You think that's what it is? Because I know houses are raising up like crazy just in Utah alone because everybody's moving out from California and all these places where they shut down everything.
Yeah.
Just because of the virus. And yeah, so tons of people are moving out here just so they can go out and have a drink or whatever.
Dang. Well, there was also a housing crisis even before the virus because... So there's a guy that came to BYU, I forget his name, but he owns a business here in Utah called Perry Homes. It's a big real estate company that builds homes. And he was talking about the tariffs that Trump put on the whole world, basically. Specifically, he talked about the ones from Canada.
Really? Not China? Because I know China was a huge deal.
Yeah, so China was big with like steel, but we put a lot of tariffs on Canadian wood, their lumber.
Interesting. And that's like, I feel like that's the easiest transportation too. Like you just drive it down.
Yeah.
Instead of like taking it on a whole ship and everything like that.
But his company estimated that the lumber tariffs increased Utah housing prices by 11% in like a year or something like that.
That's crazy.
So ever since it was instated.
So would that be new houses or would that be just all housing that's been increased?
I would imagine that it would increase the price of the whole market.
Really?
Like if people are looking to buy houses and, their price matching other, like whatever the market price is.
Has it affected houses everywhere or just in Utah?
I'd imagine everywhere. But he was talking
Utah?
Specifically about Utah because his company's in Utah.
Right.
And there's a lot of people wanting to move to Utah. Utah has low crime rates, has a lot of stuff to do outdoorsy, stuff like that.
Well, we could go back to brick instead of sticks, like the Three Pigs story.
Yeah,
with the wolf.
Or we could do concrete.
Concrete
in
housing.
Taiwan, everything is concrete. Everyone's houses.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
Because I used to live in Taiwan.
2 years.
Yeah, I did one of those Mormon missions there. Lived there for a couple years, and everyone's houses are concrete there because of the typhoons. They don't get water damage as easily. They don't get destroyed as easily.
I think concrete still hurts water, right? Like it can crack and things like that.
I think that's more temperature related, isn't it? Or is it moisture related?
I don't know. I used to work in maintenance.
Yeah.
And I would have to repair like steps that were concrete, and people were telling me, this might not be true, but people were telling me that like concrete, like people think it's waterproof just because it's solid rock, but they say it almost acts like a sponge and it can really start to expand after a while.
Yeah, I thought it was like if water got into it and then it like froze, then the like water would expand.
Right.
I thought that's what it was. I don't know enough about concrete.
Neither do I.
Sounds plausible.
Yeah, so we'll keep it in. Yeah. You decide for yourself. Look it up on Google.
And let us know.
Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
How was living in Taiwan? Other than
good.
the concrete building. Was it cold with the concretes? Like with the not a lot of insulation, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't get super cold there in general. Like the latitude is kind of the same as northern Mexico.
Okay.
So it's pretty warm there for the most part. The winter that I was there was one of the coldest winters they had on record.
The coldest winter.
And it got really cold. But
On the coldest winter, it got pretty cold.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But also a big part of that was I wasn't used to the cold anymore.
Right.
I'd lived in the heat of Taiwan for a year and then it hit. But yeah, it gets hot there. It gets like up to the like 120s, I think.
Right.
Fahrenheit.
And when you first went down there, that was like in December, right? So it was almost like when the cold was starting to get warmer.
Yeah.
And then that next year, everything was leading up to the cold.
Yeah.
And that's when you really got to feel it. And then it was the coldest winter.
Yeah. And I remember I thought it was going to be like a paradise, like Costa Rica or whatever, where people will go travel there year round. Is Costa Rica one of those places?
Yeah.
But I went there and I left all of my coats in Utah because I didn't think that I'd need them.
Right. Brought all your swimsuits, your sunglasses, your flip-flops.
Yeah.
Just like a vacation. Going on your mission, just like a vacation.
Yeah, exactly. That's not true. We'll talk about that at some point.
Yeah.
Maybe not today.
No.
But I had all these like short sleeve shirts, no coats, and I actually got there in February. And like the first day I got there was freezing rain, and I like was so freaking cold. And I went straight to a coat shop and dropped a lot of money, a lot of Taiwanese money. It
Are
was
coats pretty
40
cheap
bucks.
there? Like are most products cheaper there in Taiwan?
Pretty much everything's cheaper there, with the exception of housing, I believe.
Just because it's made out of concrete.
No, it's actually because, it's like half the size of Utah, I think, the island, and there's like 23 million people
Yeah, that's
on the
crazy.
island. So it's just like so crowded.
How many big cities do they have in Taiwan?
I think, like four or five.
What's their capital?
Taipei.
You know the population of that?
It wasn't as big as I thought it would be, actually.
It's kind of dispersed. Do a lot of people live in more of the rural areas?
Well,
than you
the
think?
the cities are actually like they're just so connected. Like they're almost like arbitrarily broken up. So Taipei is actually a lot smaller than I thought, and I think it's like 2 or 3 million is the population.
So that's
in
not even
Taipei.
got to be the highest population city then.
I can answer that accurately. It's been a long time since I've looked at the populations.
Right.
I think it might be though.
Okay.
It's
Still the
either
highest
that.
population.
It's either that or like Taichung or Kaohsiung. But yeah, I don't know.
How much were coats there at the time?
I think I got a pretty good quality coat. Like the winter coat that I actually brought today, I think was like $40.
Oh, nice. In Taiwan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It might have been 50, and then I bought another one that was a little lighter. That was I think 40 actually.
And this is 50 American dollars?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do they take American money there, or do you have to exchange it?
You have to exchange it. Yeah.
Okay. So now some places will still take American money.
Yeah.
So does Taiwan have? I know China has a big. What are they like? The off-brand products, but they still have all the name brand stuff.
Oh, yeah,
if
yeah.
that makes sense. Like it's made in the same factory,
Yeah.
so it's all the same, but it's way
Yeah.
cheaper just because of the name. They have a lot of that in Taiwan.
It's not as common, but there's definitely ways to get it. Like in our mission, there's this guy named Underground Frank, and he would just appear. He was just a little short guy, kind of shady. He was like an engineer, and he would just sell stuff to missionaries on his free time.
Underground Frank.
Yeah, we'd call him that. His name was Frank.
Was he Taiwanese?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that a common name, Frank, in Taiwan?
No, they just choose whatever name they want.
Right.
For English. Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
So
oh.
he just chose Frank.
I got
for
you.
whatever reason. I don't
Interesting.
know why.
Okay. And they speak Mandarin there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And so he would just appear. Like there'd be times we'd be in the subway and he would just like show up. Like, and he would-
Underground Frank. Sneaky Frank.
Yeah, yeah. He would follow us, dude. And he would have like 4 phones. And he would just give one to each missionary and it would have this app. And you would tell him what you wanted and he would like know the words to search up. And you would get knockoff stuff. It'd be like, I want Rolex. And then you'd look up like Rollies or something. And it would come up with like fake Rolexes.
Oh,
or
look at
whatever.
that. Are Rolexes made in China? Do you know?
I think so.
You think so?
I don't know.
Because I know they were supposed to be really high quality watches. Like I guess if you take it into a watch shop, they're supposed to really can be able to tell the difference between an off-brand Rolex and an on-brand Rolex.
Oh, I believe it. A lot of the off-brand stuff that we got, it was pretty noticeable.
Just lower quality or just look different?
Usually there was a little bit of a look difference. Some of it was really low quality. It was kind of a gamble. Some stuff like my exercise socks I got from him, and I still wear those after a couple years. Like those are amazing socks.
And the elastics haven't broke on it or anything like that?
no.
I swear, I feel like my socks it's like a year and then the elasticals will break. I'll
Yeah.
still wear them, but that's crazy.
Yeah, and then all that's left is to use them as a weapon. You know?
Yeah.
Like put weights at the end and swing it around.
But a sock of coins, you know, if they're younger, maybe you'll do butter to not hurt them as much. You know? Maybe it's. I actually found out the other day that if you throw rocks at someone, it's considered a felony.
Are you serious?
Yeah, but if you get eggs and you freeze those eggs so they're as hard as rocks and you throw them at people, that's only a misdemeanor.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Wait, how did you find this out? And is this like a Utah law or a federal law?
I think it's
well,
a
I guess a felony is a federal law.
Yeah, so I think it's a federal law. And I don't know how people even came up with this. I feel like that's got to be one of the smartest criminal ideas if you want to. But yeah, I guess eggs would be, you know, because eggs, those are harmless, you know, they're just eggs.
Yeah.
But yeah, rocks, like they can be seen as serious weapons. So I guess people had the idea of freezing eggs and throwing them at people, and they're only getting misdemeanors for it.
That's crazy, dude.
Same thing with paintballs. Like paintballs hurt way more when they're frozen. I don't know if you've ever been shot with one of those.
No, not a frozen paintball. No,
No, it hurts. Like,
with a non-frozen paintball, I have.
You ever been hit with a frozen egg?
No,
No.
I haven't been hit with a raw one either.
Really?
Have you?
No. Why don't we? No. Like, I'll throw a frozen egg at you. You throw a regular egg at me, and we'll see which one
compare the
hurts.
difference.
Yeah, we'll see which one hurts more, and like we'll decide on whether or not it should be a felony or a misdemeanor based on the frozen factor.
Well, enough about eggs
Eggs.
and Taiwan.
Taiwanese eggs. Do they have different kinds of eggs in Taiwan? Then do they eat
never mind.
eggs?
We are talking about Taiwan.
Now we're talking about Taiwan and eggs.
They eat a lot of eggs, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't they eat peanut butter burgers? Isn't that a thing you
Oh,
said?
yeah. Peanut butter burgers are amazing. 'Kay.
Peanut butter
It
burgers.
sounds weird, I know. But their standard burger shop has a peanut butter burger. And it's just a normal burger, and you just put peanut butter on instead of, like, I don't know, ketchup and mayonnaise or whatever.
Right.
And
The crunchy or the smooth?
either way.
Either way.
Yeah.
Is it like literal Jif, or do they make their own peanut butter? How does that work?
They don't. So their peanut butter there is sweeter.
Really?
It's like, I think it's more synthetic, honestly, or maybe not synthetic, artificial.
Artificial. So like not real nuts.
I don't know. It's just like sweet. Like you eat it here, and it's like there's a little bit of sweetness, but it's mainly just peanut. But theirs, it's almost like you eat it just plain on pancakes, and it's amazing because it's just like almost.
Janae does that
really
all the
sugary.
time. My
Really?
girlfriend Janae.
Oh,
yeah.
already?
Yeah,
dang.
she puts peanut butter all over pancakes, and she gets the nutty kind. And yeah, she'll eat them like plain. She'll like fold them like tacos and just eat
Oh,
them.
dang. Well, yeah, I would do that. That was my breakfast every morning.
Yeah, we should totally try to see if we can get peanut butter from Taiwan and like make 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Yeah.
One with Jif
Oh,
and
and
one with
compare 'em.
regular, and compare 'em.
Yeah.
I think that'd be kind of funny.
Yeah, that would be good.
So eggs in Taiwan, are they like regular eggs? I don't know. I feel like
they're
I feel like Taiwan's like a different universe almost. so
they're chicken eggs.
chicken eggs. Okay.
Yeah, and they put them in a lot of stuff.
And they're Taiwanese chickens.
I don't know. Maybe
No.
maybe they import them. I don't know.
I don't know. Do you import eggs?
Well, here's the thing: they import basically all of their food because they don't have enough land. They have like one major cow farm there, and it's like a tourist attraction.
I know they do. Tourist attraction.
No, literally, like I went there one day, and they have like, it's like tourists, like tour buses go there, and there's all these milk products. You can like go to their local creamery and stuff like that, and that because that doesn't exist there. They just don't have enough land for people to have cows.
Right. I know Japan, in like the high population areas like Tokyo, like they'll
Yeah.
do factory farming. So they'll get to like stack up plants in a factory and use the artificial light and grow them like that.
Yeah.
And that's always nice because they can grow anything there. Like they don't have to wait for seasons or,
They grow babies there, like Brave New World type of thing in tubes.
I don't know. They could. I mean, you don't know much about the government. Or are we going to conspiracy theories already?
We could if we wanted to have
Printing babies,
printing babies.
chicken babies.
The Fed prints more than just money. They print babies.
And those babies make money because we sell them
Oh my
to the black market.
I mean, well, people think that the COVID vaccine has dead babies in it or something.
No way.
No, yeah, that's like a big thing. That's a big reason a lot of people don't want it.
I thought it was because they put like a tracker.
There's a
for
million
you.
different things. There's
Right.
like the Mark of the Beast in it, trackers,
Yeah.
dead babies,
Dead babies, Mark of the Beast.
something like that.
I hate the Mark of the Beast thing. That was a huge thing when. Do you remember seeing those YouTube videos and Facebook videos of like people inserting like a payment chip in their wrist or in their forehead, and they would be able to like scan over it like with their phone or with their card,
That's
and it would
awesome.
just automatically pay for it.
That's amazing.
So many people were like, "That's the Mark of the Beast" because they said it's in your wrist or in your forehead. I think the forehead's kind of weird.
Is that a Bible thing? Does it say that?
I think so.
The wrist or the forehead?
Right. The forehead thing just sounds weird to me because you're almost like bowing into the payment.
Yeah.
So, Mark of the Beast.
Dang, man, yeah, people have some weird beliefs. I watched so the Capitol thing that recently went on. I watched that live, and that's where I learned about. Like I'd heard about the dead babies in the vaccine thing.
Yeah.
But so I watched it live on, I don't know, like MSNBC or something like that.
So just camera crews were there and they were filming the whole thing?
Yeah, and they were like reporters.
Did they get into the building at all? Were they reporting that?
No, they were just watching from the outside.
Right.
And there was like people with megaphones, and there was this guy with a megaphone that was yelling like, you might want the COVID vaccine now, but you'll be sorry when you're dying because the dead baby's in it, or I don't know, something like that.
Dead babies.
And like, yeah, there was a lot of weird things being said there. And there were like people climbing up the sides. I don't know if you saw any videos of that.
Like World War Z style, like climbing all over each other and
not quite to that, not to that extreme.
I could see him being that crazy.
But so there were like stairs, and then there's like a platform, and then there were the door was like on the little platform thing.
Right.
And so instead of going up the stairs, they would like climb up the sides, and people are like falling and stuff, and they had like ropes and everything, and the reporter just kept being like, and people are still climbing up the sides. And again, there are stairs probably 20 yards away, but they don't want to use stairs.
It's too obvious, right? Throw off the police a little bit. Sneak attack, yeah. Well, I know in D&D you get advantage if you flank attack.
That's
so
true.
Maybe that's what they were
surrounding
for.
them.
Yeah. Maybe they had one like coach on a headset. Everybody's wearing headphones and like, all right, you go here, you go here.
Like they do on esports teams?
Esports, military style, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you guys sacrifice your lives over here, distract the cops, and then you guys climb over here, get in through the rear. I could see that. Was anybody wearing masks at the protest? I haven't seen a ton of pictures, but I can't imagine. I'm sure they're the same.
I mean, they were wearing like, there were some people wearing like tactical masks.
Oh, yeah. But like, I bet you, I mean, I got to think like the anti-mask people are the same as the crazy people that are climbing up the Capitol.
No, it was actually funny because the pictures of these people, like I'm sure you've seen, the FBI is like has all these wanted things.
The face paint guy, right?
Yeah,
the Braveheart looking dude. I don't even know what he was.
He actually just got arrested, I think, like yesterday.
Right.
But there were these pictures of people, and it was way easier to identify who they were because they weren't wearing masks. And so there's all these jokes about how like not wearing masks, like how they were saying that it led to a lack of freedom. Having to wear masks, and they're like, oh, it's funny because it's going to lead them to being in jail and losing their freedom.
Right, that's funny.
Like just some irony.
Yeah, because I think I saw some pictures. I didn't see it the whole time, but yeah, I was like, all right, is anybody wearing a mask in there? It's like I think the cops were.
And then, and like I'm sure some people were.
Yeah.
And there were. I genuinely believe that there were people that went there to peacefully protest.
Right. I mean, I think there were 30,000. Right?
Yeah.
It was a crazy number.
Yeah, and there's no way 30,000 people are fit inside that little Capitol.
Oh yeah, if 30,000 people, even against 1,000 police, and the police weren't willing to use like super lethal force of like, because I know some governments and stuff will like be like, here's the line, you cross it, you're dead. We're gonna shoot you dead.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't think the U.S. is doing anything like that. But yeah, even 1,000 police against 30,000 people trying to get in that Capitol. I mean, that would be a World War Z style kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, even with I don't know how many people entered, the 100, 500 people that entered the building, like even the police didn't really stop them until.
yeah. I know they didn't have like nearly enough police as they should have.
Yeah, they released a statement and they're like, we weren't really expecting them to try and breach the Capitol building, and so they didn't prepare for it.
Right. I know I've heard some rumors of Trump like waiting to call the National Guard and send them over.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I haven't researched that.
Neither have I.
I saw that like the mayor of DC activated the guard, and then that was blocked by the Department of Defense, and then the Virginia governor had to like overrule that or something. I don't know. It was something that I haven't researched.
So when they voted to get Biden into presidency, did they go back to the Capitol after, or did they do it over like a Zoom meeting? Do you know?
I have no idea. I've wondered that.
Right? I mean,
like, how did they finish it?
Yeah, because they had to. I think they finished it the next morning. So, and I don't know what they were trying to do, like trying to get in the Capitol, because I mean, Biden's still going to be the president. They're not like, all right, you got us. You got in the Capitol. that was the rule. If anybody enters the Capitol, Trump will be your new president again, and you guys got us. So I guess we'll keep going from there.
Well, like, the thing that scares me that's happening from all this, I'm sure you've seen like people getting banned from Twitter and Trump getting banned, and Parler got banned from app stores. You know what Parler is, right?
No, actually.
Oh, you don't? So for those of you that don't know, Parler is a social media out there that is primarily used by the alt-right or the far right. Yeah.
Parlor?
ER.
ER, okay.
Yeah, Parler, yeah.
Okay.
And basically, it's like a censorship-free platform. So it's like they won't remove any posts or anything. And so there's a lot of like QAnon stuff on there, a lot of conspiracy theories, anti-vax probably. And so when like Facebook and Twitter started removing posts that could incite violence or whatever,
Or even anti-vax. Like I know Facebook's done a
Yeah.
lot of that kind of stuff too.
yeah,
Animal abuse.
those users then moved to Parler. It's almost like a 4chan. 4chan doesn't really regulate their content, right?
So Parler, but for people that can create like profiles.
Yeah,
and tell
exactly,
you who they
exactly,
are. That's kind of
exactly.
interesting. Is it mostly used by the alt-right, or is it just used by anybody?
From what
and the
I've-
alt-right also uses it.
It can be used by anyone, but the thing is the way that so they regulate content a little bit, and what they do is they get 5 random users to be like a jury if like content is reported or something, and then those 5 users decide if it stays or not. And
For
so
every single post, like moderators with Reddit, things like that.
I think so, yeah.
Interesting.
And the people are supposed to be entirely randomized, but the issue with that is if the jury, like if the users are primarily alt-right and it started that way,
Right.
then they can just create their own echo chamber and remove anything that's not alt-right.
Right.
You know,
So was it started by the alt-right?
it was just started by a guy. From what I know, it's just started by a guy that thought there was too much censorship by large social media corporations.
Right. And I can see that, like, to a point.
Yeah.
With large censorship.
Yeah, but it's a really like hard philosophical debate. You know, like
On Parler or what we're talking about.
just like social media being able to remove posts,
Right.
right? Like people say that it infringes upon the freedom of speech.
But it doesn't, because you're going through a platform.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I believe they should be able to do it. But I actually am happy that there are sites like 4chan. Reddit used to be like that. I think they're more like
Yeah.
that than Facebook or things like that. There's their own subreddits and they could be quarantined. But 4chan and I guess Parler, I haven't even heard of that until just now.
Well, the issue was Parler was just so they were hosted by Amazon Web Service, and Amazon just removed them, and so they have no.
Affiliation anymore.
Well, they have no hosting service right now. So I think this morning they were removed actually. And you know it's hard because like it is a platform for like billions of people to be able to express their views, and I think it's important for people to be able to express the views that are even offensive, because if they don't express those views, then those views are never challenged. You know. And yeah, so I forgot where I was going with that. But on the other side though, like you said, like they are private companies with terms and services that these people agreed to, you know, where they say, oh, if you post this type of stuff, then we have the right to remove your profile or remove your posts or whatever.
And I totally get that kind of stuff when it comes to things like pornography, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't
Yeah,
want YouTube, Facebook to be overrun with porn or
Yeah.
anything like that.
Yeah.
Or TikTok, things like that. So I think there should be certain websites where you can find certain stuff and other websites where you can find other stuff where you're more
Yeah.
specifically looking to go find that stuff.
Yeah. And also this freedom of speech thing, it's like they're thinking the government is removing it, but it's not the government.
Right.
It's
It's the
yeah.
social media. Do you think they would even, like, Parler, right?
Yeah.
You think they would let our podcast be on there? I mean, we're not necessarily right or left, I don't think.
I don't know. That's an interesting question. I know some people personally that use Parler. Maybe I could frickin' ask them, have them listen to this episode, see if we're too communist for them or something.
Well, why don't we just post it and see what happens? Maybe we'll see what kind of comments we can get, see if
Yeah.
anybody's willing to. Or if it, because you
Gets
said those
removed.
5 people.
Might get removed, yeah.
It could just get removed right on there. I was talking about it. So,
Yeah. But actually, our coming up with this podcast was quite an adventure.
oh, yeah. Introduction alone took us each 20 hours. So
Yeah.
40 hours, full week of just that 4 minutes and 30 seconds of incorrigible masterpiece.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone listening listened to our introduction. If you haven't, feel free. It's only like 4 minutes. But yeah, like Mike was saying, we just spent so long on that.
Editing, writing. The amount of time I've heard myself say Fruit Loops is probably more than anyone else in the universe. Like, I don't think Fruit Loops has a spokesperson like Jared from Subway, where I'm sure Jared from Subway has said Subway quite a few times. I think I have probably said Fruit Loops more times, or at least heard myself say Fruit Loops more time than anybody else in the universe.
And the funny thing is, like, we don't want Fruit Loops to sponsor us. We want Captain Crunch to sponsor us.
Yeah, or at least get Captain Crunch to make a mixture of the soft and hard cereal.
Yeah.
Because I know after we were looking up the stuff about Captain Crunch, we found out that they actually did make a soft cereal for people who had a hard time eating it and tearing up their mouth. And it flopped because I guess it got too soggy too quickly. But maybe this will be a good way to get Captain Crunch to start making a mixture of the two.
Yeah.
Good tasting cereal that doesn't tear your mouth up.
Yeah. Invest some money into that research and development, you know?
Oh yeah. Maybe the podcast proceeds will just go straight to Captain Crunch. It'll be like our charity kind of thing for kids all around the world that are not able to eat Captain Crunch.
So they won't get cuts in their mouth.
Exactly.
It's like razor blades in your mouth. Sorry, we don't need to go into this again. But
yeah, razor blades. You know, I burned my mouth super bad this week. I work at a pizza delivery guy right now, and there was a mess up.
Pizza.
Yeah, and so there was a mess up that came right out of the oven, and I didn't realize it came out of the oven because it was boxed up. I was like, oh, a mess up, sweet. And usually that's my dinner on nights that I work.
Oh, so you get to eat the mess ups.
Yeah, I get to eat the mess ups, and sometimes I get to make my own food and whatever. But usually, if there's a mess up, I'm not going to bother wasting more food.
Do you ever mess up on purpose to get pizza?
No, and I wouldn't say it on recording if I did. I was, that's illegal. But so I ate the pizza straight out of the oven, and I took my first couple bites out of it, and I was like, oh man, this cheese is really melty. And then I realized probably halfway through the bite, I'm like, oh, that's not the cheese, that's part of my mouth melting off into the pizza. And so pieces of skin from the top of my mouth started falling into the pizza.
The worst.
It was awful. Well, it's funny, it didn't hurt at all. And I think it was because the pizza was so good. I don't know if you've ever had pizza fresh out of the oven. I think I might do it again. I might maybe train my mouth. Like with Captain Crunch, like eat constant super hot pizza and see if it won't melt my mouth anymore. Maybe I'll be heat proof in there. That might be good.
Yeah.
I drink super hot coffee all the time, so that could help out.
So Nikki, she's recently started working at Nikki is my fiance for those that don't know. But she recently started working at an Italian restaurant, kind of higher end Italian restaurant.
Right. Hostess, right?
Yeah. Yep. And so they don't let the servers or any of the workers have the leftover food that's there at night. They just throw it away.
They don't even they don't try to give it to any shelters or anything like that. How much food waste do you think comes out of there though?
I have no idea, but I know that it's a common practice by restaurants to throw away whatever leftover food. They won't give it to workers, or they won't give it away to people for free.
Right.
And I hate that.
Yeah. There are some places like I was down on vacation not too long ago, and we were in a hurry to go to the beach, but we wanted to pick up some pizza before then. And they were telling us wait times were an hour and a half, and I wasn't willing to wait an hour and a half there. So working in pizza, I knew. I was like, hey, do you guys have any mess ups I can just buy off you?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, yeah, we totally can. So I think they might save them for a second to see if like somebody orders that exact thing. But yeah, I bought those pizzas half price, huge pizzas, very delicious, and that was a good way. So life hack for some of you people that don't want to wait in line for a restaurant so too long. Just ask for a mess up or the quickest thing they could potentially whip up.
And even along those lines, there are some places, like I think it's Harmon's, which is a grocery store in Salt Lake, or in Utah. They donate all their stuff to homeless shelters from their bakery at the end of each day.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And I can't remember. There's a couple places, local places, that do stuff like that, and I think that's really cool when they do that.
I was actually seeing there was an online subscription service where I guess you can buy food that like wasn't good enough to sell in the grocery stores, like maybe the box was damaged or the fruit looked a little weird. It's called like Misfits. I think there's a couple others out there. This is not a sponsored thing. I'm just mentioning it.
Sounds like I belong on there.
Yeah, a little misfit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. We both belong on there. We should start calling ourselves the Misfits. Just Mike and the Misfit. That's what we're gonna be now. But yeah, they like sell just not old food, like still food that you can definitely eat, nothing expired or anything like that. But I actually thought about doing that, kind of a subscription service where you can get like food for basically half the price, and you get it all delivered to you. And it's just a little messed up. Like an apple was slightly the wrong color than what they wanted it to be, so they didn't put it in there.
Or there's like a little bruise or something.
Yeah, little bruise. I mean, things that's still eatable, but you can definitely, I mean,
dang,
not like it's
that's
a problem
super cool. Actually, what a good idea.
Yeah, for sure.
Dang. Speaking of names, though, you mentioned Mike and the Misfits.
Mike and the Misfits.
Or Misfit, singular. We also came up with a lot of names when we were trying to figure out this podcast.
Oh, yes, we did. And so the person that came up with the Mike at the helm was my father. I mean, I think that's a very clever idea.
Genius name.
Genius idea. It says Mike and it says Helm. Ours' last name's Helm. My first name's Mike. It's a good way of getting both of our names onto the podcast, as well as having the theme of our podcast in there, where we just let the microphone guide our way and let us talk about whatever we want.
Yeah. I took screenshots of all of our ideas.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. And it started off with just hanging out.
Just hanging out.
Yeah. And then there was conversations.
Conversations, yeah.
Lovers.
Lovers, really?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
We're not lovers, by the way.
We do love.
We do love, yeah.
So we're lovers, but...
Not romantically.
No, not yet.
Except with our significant others.
Yeah, and with each other, maybe, at some point.
Yeah.
We'll see where the podcast goes.
This might get explicit.
Yeah, a little bit.
And then the first one that we actually considered was random ass.
Random asses.
Yeah.
Like, but that sounded a little too douchey. Like that we were just being random assholes. But we kind of are, but I feel like that's a little too on the nose for what we were going for.
Well, the funny thing is, Mike, after we came up with that, he immediately sent me a screenshot. And it was him Googling random ass.
Yeah, I forgot about that. And a bunch of porn sites came up. I don't know who's Googling random asses, specifically looking for pornography.
It's like random asses number 6, xvideos.com.
Yeah, or xhamster.
Xhamster random asses 80 pics.
Yeah, just I don't know who's looking that kind of stuff up. I mean, you gotta, I don't know, really into some random asses, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like the asses on the screenshot didn't even look like some fantastic asses, you know, like they were pretty average or below average even from the screenshot that we got. So.
Well, that's random. It doesn't say random good-looking asses.
That's true. Just any kind of ass from anybody, you know.
Could be donkey.
Yeah, as long as it's 18 and up, you know, nothing matters. It's basically the Parler. Maybe Parler even comes up on random asses.
And then you asked your good friend Jacob for name ideas.
Yes, yeah. Jacob, he came up with a grand, very clever idea of Mike's podcast.
Yeah, or the Mike cast.
The Mike cast, yeah.
That's not too bad.
I guess the cover art could be me in a bunch of slings and casts.
Yeah.
From, like, breaking my arms.
Or like you're the full cast for a movie.
Oh, yeah.
Just like, who does that? Tyler Perry? Is that, no.
No, not Tyler Perry. But there is somebody who, like, they literally play everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember. George someone? No, I don't know.
George Simmons.
George Simmons.
No, it's
Who
not.
is that?
I think that is the Trayvon Martin guy.
Oh, shoot. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. But, yeah. I'm very pleased with Mike at the helm.
Oh, yeah. We thought of Geek Havoc.
Oh, yeah.
Classic, I don't know if you know the phrase wreak havoc, but we thought of that. But then we thought maybe that wouldn't... that would maybe lose some subscribers. And not everything we're talking about is geeky stuff. I mean, I don't even think we talk about any geeky stuff on this podcast.
Yeah, like Dungeons and Dragons and esports were mentioned like a couple times, but...
Right, but that's it. So we're definitely geeks, but that's not our full podcast.
Yeah. But hopefully you guys like the name. Let us know if you don't. And if you don't, then that's too bad, actually.
It's too bad. We already named it Mike at the Helm. We like it. Some people do, so...
Yeah. Hopefully more enjoy it.
Oh, yeah. 9 listeners so far on our intro.
Oh, really?
That, yeah.
Dang. Well,
I probably sent it to 20 people. So half of those people listened to it.
And I sent it to like 4 people.
And none of them listened to it.
None of them.
So it's pretty sad.
They're just like, good job.
Yeah. And we like what you did. We totally listened. Don't check, but we listened.
Yeah. But, yeah, I think that's all I got for today, unless you got something else.
Probably not. So, Arza, how can they reach out to us?
So you can reach out to us. We have a YouTube channel. We have an Instagram page. We have a Facebook. Do we have Facebook?
Not yet. No.
Okay. Don't reach out on Facebook.
Facebook's for old people. We want the young people, the young generation on our podcast.
We might make a Parler now.
Yeah. You can find us on Parler now.
And we have a TikTok too. Mm-hmm. And it's at the Helm Podcast.
At the Helm Podcast. Yeah. You can find us on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram under at the Helm Podcast. Please feel free to send us a DM asking us any kind of questions you want us to answer, or comment anything you want on TikTok.
Or if for some reason you want to hear our input on something, want to hear us talk about it,
all right,
go ahead and put topics in there.
Yeah. Want to leave hate comments? Go ahead. We
Yeah.
appreciate those. It
Hit
gets us
that
on the For
dislike
You
button
page.
if you hated it.
Yeah. No dislike button. Just hit the like button and pretend it was a dislike button. That would really help us out.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Or you can hit the dislike button.
All right.
Or hit no buttons.
Yeah. No buttons either. Just watch it a couple times.
Yeah.
Share a copy link. Send it to somebody you hate, and they can get interested in it.
Add it to your watch later.
Oh yeah, for sure. That would really mess us over.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah, if you give us enough likes, dislikes, comments, maybe we'll get enough funding to create a better ending.
It's not worth our time right now. Opportunity cost.
Yeah.